Good evening, everyone who is joining me across from India, and good morning to all the folks who are joining across from America. I am Faraz from Let's Unbound. I'm a co-founder with the organization, and welcome to today's topic of Brilliance. Your future starts here. So, if your child has ever said that I love biology, but I'm not sure how does that really translate into a college or a career, so you're in the right room. Our goal today is extremely simple: turn that interest, that statement, into a clear competitive plan. Now, here's what you could expect from the end of this session. There's going to be clarity on where biology can take you academically, professionally, a practical checklist for building a standout profile for selective programs, a few to-do list steps that can really immediately can be taken after we finish here. So again, just a couple of notes for the parents who have just joined across at the end. Any questions, just do drop them on the chat section, along with any technical difficulties you may be facing. Kanushri is co-hosting the webinar across with us, so she can voice them across to us. Now, you'll also hear from our expert that we have invited for our today's session, Sunetra. She's a genomics and a biotech leader with deep US-India experiences who will ground everything in real-world pathways and admissions realities. So let's now move across into the presentation itself. But before we get into the topic at hand, I'll quickly introduce you the organization as well, the one that I am representing, Let's Unbound, which began as with a focus on complete skill building and empowering elementary and middle school students with STEM and life skills and mentorship. Now, as these students then progressed into high school, they started seeking out for college admissions guidance. And that's where we listened. We evolved our service to seamlessly integrate the storytelling of the applications into our already well-established mentoring programs. Now, by combining personalized learning, skill development, strategic admission support, we guide students right from their early academic years to top global universities. We have impacted more than 4,000 students across 25 countries, delivering more than 125,000 hours of expert mentoring. Our commitment to excellence has earned us a 4.9 out of a 5 global rating. We are really proud to have partnered with organizations as Harvard Students Agencies, Arizona State University Prep Digital in the past, which has really ensured students have received a world-class educational experience. Now, quickly moving on to the next round of introductions, my co-founders, the visionaries behind the organizations. On the left, you can see Amol. Amol is a serial entrepreneur. He's an education visionary. He's got experiences with Tata and Exceed, which is India's largest edtech platform. Amol has helped scale impactful educational solutions across 2,000 schools in 6 countries and has impacted more than 250,000 students. On your right, you can see Professor Nishant Chawla, a mentor and educator, and the brains behind of many of those learning pathways that we have created that we constantly share across with our students. With 14 plus years of experience across academia and industry, he has counseled more than 1,000 students and has designed curriculum solutions from K-12 to executive MBA programs. Now, moving on to my own introduction, I'll be largely a co-host for today. I have spent the last decade plus within consultancy, firstly within banking and financial industry with Citibank, Standard Charter. I've also worked with organizations as Crimson Education and Added Education within the scope of admissions consultancy. And now I am a co-founder across with Let's Unbound, and I do head the whole counseling process. Now, moving on to the speaker for today, before we really go on to the co-agenda, let me introduce you the person who will really anchor today's session. Our host is Sunetra. She is a scientist and industry leader with 15 years across genomics and biotechnology, both in USA and India. She's held strategic roles in cancer and transplant diagnostics at organizations you'll recognize on this slide, right? You've got Genomic Health, Agilent, Thermo Fisher Scientific. Sunetra is also a founding partner at Genetics Data Dynamics, where she focuses on advanced personalized genetics, turning complex science into real world impact. Academically, she's a molecular biology graduate from Miami University, USA, with a specialized training in biotechnology and microbiology. So you'd be an expert hands today who's really gone through this whole process herself and very much focused in the area that you're seeing. Before I hand it over to Sunetra, I just want to quickly show you the roadmap that we'll be following across the introductions in terms of looking at how biology, what is biology, as we call the science of life, the key applications, emerging frontiers in biology, moving on to biology as a degree. Why should you be pursuing it in the States, in UK? What are the opportunities other than these two countries? Then, what is a stellar profile? How do you create one? Moving on to our approach and the resources that we do always share in our presentations. So I'll now just request Netra if you could share from your side.
Thank you so much, Faraz, for the warm introduction. And thank you to everyone in the audience for tuning into this session. So before we dive in, I'd like to share a quick poll to just understand which countries you all are considering to pursue your undergrad degree. So Faraz, if you don't mind, if you could just put that poll out
Yes,
there.
yes. 1 second. I'm just launching it. Right. I've just started the poll, so if all of you guys could reply back. USA Sunetra has got the highest responses, as we always do see. 83, 86% of the students looking at USA, followed by a very handsome percentage, I'd say, for UK, 10, 15%, where it's lying. But yeah, closer to 90% is what you will see in US. These are the two countries that students are largely looking across, the ones who are attending. So I think the last data, I'd say 90% USA and a couple of students in UK as well.
Okay,
Sure. So
go
thanks
ahead.
for the thing. I'll just stop the poll.
All right. Okay, so let's dive in. So let's start with the basics, right? Biology. So the what, why, and how of science. So first, what is biology? It is actually the study of life in all of its forms, right? All the way from microbes to humans. In addition to that, biology also explores how living organisms and their interactions, as well as the adaptations with one another, as well as the planet. So why is it important to study biology? So, 1 second. Yes. So, biology. When we look into biology, sorry, give me a minute. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen? Hello?
Yeah, it's just loading.
Yeah.
Second, please. Yeah, we can see it perfectly.
Okay.
We can see your screen perfectly.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, sorry about that. So, why study biology? So, if we see the greatest challenges today, they're all related to disease, hunger, climate change, and all of these solutions are all deeply rooted to biology. So the interesting fact is biology is actually changing the 21st century, right? We have like breakthrough scientific research where you have genetic diseases, cure for various genetic diseases, such as using the CRISPR gene editing technology. We saw during the COVID pandemic, there is the mRNA vaccines, which played a very important role. If you look at climate crops, it addresses the food security issues. And also with the advent of AI, you see how AI is actually helping towards the betterment with the drug discovery. So moving on to why is biology considered a future career? So as I mentioned, we see a lot of scientific breakthroughs. It's constantly evolving. You have discoveries which are transforming the health, the tech, and the environment sector. In addition to that, you have like massive investments in this biotech, pharma, and healthcare sector. So always when you have like investments coming in, there's a lot of research work that's being done, and also it powers your careers and startups, and as well as creates global change. All right. So moving on to biology, right? So biology today is not a standalone. It blends with many other fields to solve real world problems. So when you combine biology with computer science, you have the discipline of bioinformatics. Similarly, with math, you have biostatistics. With chemistry, you have biochemistry. With physics, you have biophysics. And you combine it with engineering, it becomes biomedical engineering. When you combine it with technology, you have biotechnology. In environmental sciences, you have environmental biology. And then when you study biology with a focus on the molecular sciences, it becomes molecular biology. And then when you focus on the public health and ethics, you have bioethics. So biology is not limited to just, medicine or being a doctor or dentistry. It powers advances in various other subfields. So you can see the different key applications of what exactly these different subfields trying to get information that you need out of that. In terms of biochemistry, it's all about metabolism, studying nutrition metabolism, drug development, and it focuses a lot on that. If you look into biostatistics, it's all about experimental designs, analyzing data. Biophysics focuses on things like building X-ray machines or MRI machines, and also looking into protein drug simulations. If you look at biomedical engineering, we have all these prosthetics, lab grown organs. We look into a lot of that. In biotechnology, there's a lot of vaccines and gene editing that will be studied as a part of this discipline. And then when it comes to molecular biology, you study gene therapy, cancer research, and environmental biology. It's the focus is on wildlife conservation, biodiversity protection. And with bioethics, the focus is on drug safety as well as the DNA forensics. All right. So now looking into the emerging frontiers in biology. So there's new and rapidly advancing areas in the areas of bio research, right? So what we see is there are like tremendous, amazing innovations that we see right now. Various companies are doing such great works in terms of how technology and biology work together. So, for example, Neuralink, this is the brain-computer interface implant founded by Elon Musk. It's based off in Fremont, so they do a lot of neuroscience breakthroughs. You have Organova, which is San Diego-based in the US. They focus a lot on the 3D bioprinted tissues and organoids. You have Climeworks, which is headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland. They do a lot of, they're a pioneer in carbon removal. And then you have a lot of microbiome research, gut microbiome, which is the next big thing that, all the healthcare is talking about. We have Viome, which is a very interesting company that does a lot of research in that. And then, of course, SpaceX, again, by Elon Musk, it focuses on the astrobiology. So if you look at biology today, it is not just something stuck to textbooks. So the take home here is that biology today is all about innovation and real world impact. All right, so now moving on to how do you actually build a career in the biofield? So if you are someone who's still trying to understand, is this something that you would want to pursue or look into? The first thing I would suggest is try to discover your interest. Try different areas, like try to do some lab research, healthcare, biotech, environmental sciences. Do a lot of reading. There's popular science books, podcasts, blogs to get a better understanding about how the biofields work, the news that you hear about uh, groundbreaking research in the bio sector. And then also you want to join some school clubs such as robotics club, bio clubs. All this helps you to get a more in-depth understanding in terms of what exactly is biology and what is exactly the focus that's done as a part of biology. So from then on, you sort of move on to exploring early. So once you kind of think you have some interest in biology, then you start taking more courses online. You have a lot of platforms available right now, like Coursera, Khan Academy, and EDX. So try to take some specific courses that interest you so you can learn more. Try to participate in science fairs, Olympiads, or hackathons. Try to shadow professionals in hospitals or research lab. And then from there, you start building skills. So how do you build skills, right? Biology involves a lot of lab work and lab techniques that you need to master. So try to get engaged in some sort of laboratory where you can learn these skills, which could be microscopy, PCR, or pipetting. If you're looking to get into more in the bioinformatics sector, you want to look more in detail into coding or data analysis, studying more of Python programming. Also try to develop soft skills and critical thinking, because these are always utilized in your biofield, because that is something that you would want to implement as a part of your career. Then from there on, you sort of move into creating visibility on things that you've already understood and want to expand on. So this you start by doing certain passion projects. Try to build AI biomodels or sustainable ideas, or try to create more blogs specific to certain project ideas that you have. You can share your work on LinkedIn, GitHub, and ResearchGate. Try to publish some student journals or present whatever findings that you've done at conferences. You can participate in some competitions. There are a lot of really good competitions in the bio world, like the Earth Prize, Diana Award, the Regeneron ISEF competitions. By doing all of this, you're sort of creating visibility in this bio field in what you've done. And then finally, finding mentors and networks. This is something that is very, very important, not just in terms of building your profile in terms of academics. You connect with teachers, professors, researchers. All of this helps in your letter of recommendations and with other aspects. But in addition to that, the bio community is a close knit community. And as you expand and build on your career in the bio field, you will always tap into these networks. So always be in touch with your mentors and your networks, and you never know when you would need to reach out to them or when you would get opportunities through them. You can also join communities. There are a lot of specific science communities that focus a lot on scientific development and scientific engagement. Like the Sigma Xi is a popular one. The iGEM is more genetic engineering based community. There are youth NGOs. So if you start participating there, you kind of get updates in the know-hows and what exactly are the breakthroughs and what are the current applications of in your field of biology. You can seek guidance on projects, internships, and also focus and get help in terms of your career pathways through all your networks. And eventually, the goal is to build a long-term relationship with peers and role models, so that, as I mentioned, you want to keep your network and mentors in good books, right? So you never know when you would need to utilize them or when they would have an opportunity for you. All right. So now that you've sort of built on and found an interest, and you're interested in biology, and you've pursued your undergrad degree in biology, the next course of action, or the question is, so what is my career path? So where can biology take me, right? So once you've done your UG in any discipline of biology, you have two options, right? You can get into research and academia. So you would go on to pursue a higher degree in a master's and a PhD, followed by a postdoc. And once you complete that, you have two options. Either you can be a professor in a university, or you could run your own lab as a principal investigator or a scientist. And that way you can focus on any cutting edge research work or any specific fields that you want to solve, and get any sort of research work done. And a lot of it would be focused on lab-based publications, and a lot of that kind of focus will be when you are as a principal investigator. The other option that you can also pursue in your career path is healthcare and medicine, right? So being a doctor, dentist, public health, working in clinical genetics, biomedical lab technologist, being a medical writer, doing a lot of clinical research. That is another segment of how your career path can take you. Another option would be the getting into an industry or the corporate sector. right? So you can work for several biotech firms, pharma and R&D companies, diagnostic medical device companies. You have product development companies, consulting firms, as well as the biotech management companies. Uh, Another sector that you can also look into in terms of your career path is, startups and VC and entrepreneurship. There's a lot of this that happens in terms of building biotech firms or building med tech firms, pharma companies, genomic companies, climate work, biotech companies, or nonprofit startups. You can be a startup VC. You have a very popular one in the US, the Y Combinator, and you have incubators, so you can be a part of that. And with the advent of AI, there's a lot of integration with AI, with biology, where you can also participate as a biotech AI consultant. AI has a very important role in terms of digital pathology, healthcare analysts, All right. So now, moving on to why should you pursue a biology degree in the US? So we'll focus more on the different countries and what are the advantages of working with different countries or studying in different countries, right? So here we have the United States. So the US is by far the most popular and chosen a country to do any sort of bio research. The reasons being it's the hub for biotech and innovation. So in the US, there are like these biotech clusters where there are many startups and many biotech companies that are located in certain regions that do a lot of research and development work. So, for example, within the US, you have Boston, Silicon Valley, and the San Diego, which are leading biotech clusters. There is the entrepreneurship culture in the US. There's a vibrant startup ecosystem. There's a lot of VCs that's pouring in, and then you have a lot of accelerators. There are a lot of top universities, as we know. We have MIT, Stanford, Harvard, UC Berkeley. There's a very strong undergrad research opportunities. And the next one is actually the main thing, right? You have ample funding and grants. You have a lot of money coming in from the National Institute of Health, NSF, private foundations. And whenever there's money coming in to do any sort of research work you have, then you have a lot of opportunity to work on several different projects and focus on your projects to make it better. And also in the US, there are like state-of-the-art labs. You have access to world-class equipments, facilities, and collaborations. You have global talent. US is an immigrant country, so you have diverse international student community that's available, a lot of networking and future leaders. You have different global perspectives coming into the US. In the US, you have a very flexible curriculum. So when you are doing biology, you have the ability to combine it with other fields such as computer science, business, policy, or environmental studies. And finally, you have the career pathway that makes it easy to progress from a degree to a job or a work opportunity, right? You have the OPT, you have internships, you have industry tie-ups, and all of this contribute towards the smooth transition into jobs as well as into grad schools. All right, so now moving on to the United Kingdom. After the US, UK is again a very integral part in terms of bio research. UK has a really rich legacy in terms of science and medicine. It is the home for many noble discoveries. You had, Darwin. You have, DNA structures, the penicillin, IVF. All of these sort of research work were all initiated in the UK. You have healthcare integration, NHS partnerships, and this creates a real world biomedical and clinical research opportunities. In the UK, the UG program is a 3-year program, unlike the US, which is a 4-year US model. And so with the 3-year UG program, it just helps you have a faster entry into the workforce. You have world-class universities, the popular Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, UCL. They all have global recognition in the life sciences. UK also has international reputation, strong employability, and alumni network worldwide. UK also focuses a lot on the depth and specialization, and it's driven by intensive coursework from the year one, and it's ideal for students who are looking to pursue like a biology or medicine. You also have scholarship opportunities like the Rhodes, the university specific funding is available. And all of these also helps in terms of scholarship when you're studying in the UK. And finally, this is very important because once you study in UK, it serves as a gateway to Europe, right? There's easy collaboration. You have exchange programs across EU and research centers. So all of this helps you if you're looking to move out of the UK and go into the EU, then a UK degree really holds its um, yeah, it holds its structure. So moving on to the other countries. So there are other countries that are also good in biological sciences, right? We have Canada, Australia, Singapore, and Ireland. Canada has a lot is more affordable compared to the US and UK. They have a very good healthcare system and excellent research facilities and good postgraduate work permits and global recognition. So Canada is also another route to also get an entry into the US workforce because they are the neighboring country to the US. Australia, it has a strong Asia Pacific research ties, very unique in fieldwork opportunities. We know the Great Barrier Reef and the ecosystem is very unique in Australia. So it would be ideal to do any sort of environmental marine biology would be a great place to do in Australia. And Australia as well, like the UK, is a 3-year UG program. Singapore is a rapidly growing hub. They are more academic focused, although that is also changing, and they're doing a lot of research, and there is strong industry tie-ups as well. You can get scholarships for international students within the Singapore. Ireland is also globally recognized in the biotech industry. And Ireland as well, if you study there, you have EU work opportunities and many research driven programs. There are other hubs that I'd also like to mention to pursue UG degree, which is Germany, Japan, South Korea, and Switzerland. A lot of innovation in these countries. Switzerland, all the top pharma companies such as Pfizer, Roche, all of them exist or the headquarters are in Switzerland. Germany, you have a lot of companies, a lot of lab automation. Japan is very focused on stem cell research. They have a lot of advances. And South Korea, again, biomedical focused, and also a lot of research opportunities there. They're strong. All these countries are strong hubs for innovation and research. And the only issue here, though, the limitation is that most of these UG programs are taught in the national language. So there is the criteria, and you would have to know the national language, and the curriculum is taught in the national language. There are, however, some universities, select university, and even at the grad level, where English is the track that you use in terms of education. However, that is going to limit your university choices when you're looking to these different countries. The other thing is it's attractive destination for international collaboration. Even within the US, there's a lot of exchange programs and UK exchange programs with these different countries. So for those reasons, all of these countries also seem like a proper attractive destination. All right. So now, now moving on to the degrees and the courses in these different top universities. What are the universities you apply? Or how do you select these universities if you've decided that you are interested in a specific field? So my advice is just don't go by the top rankings or the, just go by, okay, they're Ivy League schools, so therefore that is where that I have to study, because you want to do extensive research, look into the specific universities, see if they have the specific program that you're looking for, whether it's biomedical engineering or environmental sciences. You want to look into the research work that's done in these different universities. And then eventually from there, you want to pick the university that you would like to apply to. So some of the top universities within the US, which is focused on biomedical, bioinstrumentation or biomechanics is Johns Hopkins. You have MIT, you have Duke, Stanford, and UC San Diego. All of these are great universities. They do a lot of work in the biotech sector, and they have also tie-ups with the industry, so these are great universities to look into. And when you're looking more into the molecular biology, you have molecular biology or genetics, you have Princeton, Harvard, you have Cornell. If you're looking at environmental sciences, you have UC Berkeley, Yale, and even Cal Poly. They have a very interesting field work related research that they focus on. So do extensive research on the universities, go into their website, see the kind of work they do, and then apply based on your interest and what exactly is the research that's going on at these universities. Okay, moving on to UK, there are many top universities that do great work and to study in the biomedical engineering field. Imperial College of London, you have King's College, UCL, Oxford, and University of Cambridge. These are some of the popular ones that focus on a lot of biology-related fields. And now moving on to how do you build a stellar student profile, right? What is a stellar student profile? So why do you want to do this, and why does it matter? So again, when it comes to anything related to biology, academics is not all of it, right? Academics is a part of it. It gets your foot into the door. We want good grades, we want good academics, but there's more to it. There's a lot more to getting a stellar profile that's built. So a stellar profile basically for a student would blend academics, research, leadership, global exposure, impact, and science. And all of it has to be woven into a unique story. And that's what makes a standout stellar student profile. So going into more of why do all these different things matter? Why do admissions officers look at all of these, right? When they're considering, especially in the US, they look at all of these, and why does it matter? So when we look at academics, um, academics always show that your intellectual strength and readiness for the top universities. If you're getting good grades, if your academics are high, your APs, all your scores are good, your SATs are good, it shows the admissions officers that you're ready to handle the pressure, the workload. You will do well when you're taking all their courses, and you would be acing it. The research aspect demonstrates your curiosity, the analytical skills, as well as your early contribution to science. So studying biology is one thing, but when you're doing hands-on work, it's a completely different ball game. And usually it is in the hands-on research work is where you find a lot of innovation and focused research and breakthroughs, right? When you're actually doing the hands-on work. So the admissions officers want to see that you've actually done this, and you've got the curious mind with the analytical problem solving skills. Leadership is evidence of initiative, vision, and ability to drive change. Extracurriculars, you want to have good extracurriculars. It shows that you reflect well as a student with a well-rounded personality, and you're able to balance STEM and creativity. So they want to know that you're able to balance both and how you integrate the two. Competitions is basically that sets you apart from other students because it shows global recognition. Exposure, it expands beyond global perspective and adaptability. And the last two are very important because it looks at impact, right? Why does it matter? Or why does it matter to you? And why is it that you want to study a particular field? And by looking into tangible community outcomes, and by looking at community service, the admissions officer is able to understand how you build empathy, values, and character, which goes above and beyond academics. All right. So now, what exactly? Now, delving more into what the standout student profile should look like, right? So, if you're looking to get more into the academic side, so you want to have rigorous coursework, AP, IB levels, A level, IB and A levels. You want subjects biochemistry, math, and computer science with high GPAs. And then you also would have to do the standardized test scores and have good grades in terms of the good scores in terms of the SAT and the ACTs. Research, you can participate in a lot of science fairs, independent project, publish paper, research internships, all local and global. It shows your interest in the research sector. Leadership, founding clubs, NGOs, leading the health and environment initiatives, inspiring and mobilizing your peers. All of these show that you are a leader and you have the leadership skills in you. When we look into extracurriculars, as I mentioned previously, being a part of the iGEM, science innovation challenges, also just beyond the STEM aspect where you have choir, sports, academic, arts, debate, how are all of these interwoven into your STEM focus? Competitions, trying to focus more into the national, international STEM awards. There are many different great platforms where you can participate in the Junior Water Prize competition. All of these show that you basically have a profile of a standout student. And then looking into exposure. So what is your exposure in terms of the biofield? Did you have any exposure? So you have the BU Rise, the Olympiad Unique, the YYGS, and other international workshops. So participating in all of this shows that you've had the exposure in terms of working in the field of biology. And finally, so when you look at ultimately it's all about the impact and community service. So when you think about what actually makes a student profile stand out, it usually comes down to the two main things: the impact you create, as well as the service you contribute. What does impact mean? Impact means you're moving beyond textbooks, you're applying to the real world. And when you mean you're applying to the real world, it's more in terms of outcomes where you've created policy shifts, you've developed some sort of a prototype, and you've even founded some sort of startup by focusing on your impact. On the other side, we have community service where it just matters as much as your impact, where there is the volunteering in healthcare and education. And all of these experiences show that you're not just brilliant in the STEM, but also you care about linking it with the social good. Because ultimately, we all study and we all develop and focus on our careers with the ultimate goal, or the ultimate goal should be how do we give back to the society, or how do we how do we basically serve in the community. And that is what the officers also want to see in terms of your application profile. And here's my final note to everyone: to always stay curious and always remember that every breakthrough that we've seen in biology always started because a student just like you asked a very simple question, which is why. So when you ask the question why, you never stop exploring, you're constantly experimenting, and you're connecting your knowledge to the world around you. So with that, I will hand over the presentation to Faraz.
Right. I've just shared my screen. You can stop your share.
All right.
Right. It's done. You can see my
Yes.
screen.
Yes.
Sure. So thanks for the insights, Sunetra. They were really thought-provoking and really interesting, specifically in how a student's basic interest in the subject can go well beyond just simple grades or marks or small positive reinforcements and saying just because you're scoring well, you're going for it. The whole aspect that you said, it's about having that intrinsic ability to ask yourself the why, which
Right.
really will push you further within this field and almost every other field, because interest is what really gets you to that gate of asking yourself why beyond just getting the right kind of marks. Now, that's one also thing that we have seen, on the same thought process, that majority of the students who we take on board, 93% of them have a very limited scope of career understanding, right, from their experiences, from things that they've seen around, and are not really looking at it from today's complex scenario of different kind of undergraduation degrees, that it has really gone into a situation where looking inwards is much more important than just chalking out seven, six different career options. And this is where what we do within Let's Unbound to understand the student, right? The part when I said to look at it in an inward fashion, to understand the student's personality, understand the strengths, do a psychometric analysis, look at basic courses. We give the profile, skill build, then take all of that profile through the application process itself and conclude largely around with the visa process. So identifying these issues, things that Sunetra was speaking on, not just on bio, different fields, and really help students to understand how can they get to that why situation in whatever degree that they're looking at, then counsel them right through to that university application. In terms to show you how this happens on a linear format, in terms of a timeline, you see grade 9, grade 10, we also take kids in grade 11. The differentiation is the earlier you join, the more time that you get to really spend on that exploring interest and building strengths aspect, where in a ninth student can really look at joining new clubs rather than just immediately going in for major competitions. And that's where that nice phase into grade 11 really allows you to also help you in though that way to select your subjects based on a lot of activities that we can do in the initial year. So the 11th year becomes that perfect time to do your capstone projects, the most important things on the activity list. And then we then transition the student into that test phase, which starts across midway of 11th. And within once you move into 12th, you start writing the essays, the personal statements, the college essays, and then really concluding this whole activity off by October somewhere, where you can apply if you're looking at UK and Oxford around 15th of October, or within USA, the deadline start by 1st of November. And these applications will run right through till November and Jan and mid-March as well, dependent on other countries that you may be adding across on. As we say, we conclude always our work with the visa application guidance. This is just to showcase all the work that we do in the three pillars that we see them as, where your academic testing in terms of SAT preps, AP preps, various school scores, subject assist, moving on to the profile building, and eventually packing the first two pillars into an application with university selection, personal essays, and all of those activities. This is just to show you a couple of successful journeys that students have undertaken with us. So this is a student that I had personally worked across with. He had got a fantastic score within SAT, a 1550, and he is quite a distinguished student within academia research, within internship, and he was very good at writing skills as well, and had won a prestigious award at the essay competition at Oxford University. Thrived as a basketball player, founded an NGO, talented solo singer. So it was a complete package that typically landed him into one of those universities. So just another quick example of a student within Rice University who made that same journey across with us with an extremely diverse profile. Uh, Now, as we always conclude of all our various sessions by sharing across resources. So every weekend, we do conduct a session on different topics around admissions, around UK colleges, US colleges. So next week, we will be going into a bit of understanding when it comes across to your UCAS applications in Singapore. So do tune us in for that session as well. Apart from our online webinars. You can use the QR code on the bottom to scan and get access to all of these different newsletters that we are always publishing, again, with the same understanding to put as much as information out there around admissions and around career building. These are two more platforms that you could use across where we put up our videos and podcasts on the YouTube channel, again, around admissions. And this is a WhatsApp community that we have created for aspirants that are looking at admissions abroad. Now, a quick opportunity for you to do a SAT diagnostic. Kids that are now currently in grade 11, you could use the QR code and do a SAT diagnostic with us, where we'd let you know where your strength areas, where your weakness areas are. So this whole November, December for all of the kids just in 11th is a very crucial period for SAT. So this SAT diagnostic can really help you in that specific way. Now, if you've liked the overall explanation and the way that we have given an understanding over, let's say, this topic or over all our admissions policy, you can scan the QR code on your screen and you could do a one-on-one session with us or our counselors where we could give you a personalized roadmap of how you need to take your admissions through. Now, we're done with the presentation. And as I had said, that we'll be using the last couple of minutes, the last 10 minutes for any questions that you will be that you'll be asking. So you could just use the chat section to drop any questions and we would be just taking them across. So we'll just let the next 5-10 seconds of you just to post any question and we will just answer them now. Do Oxford and Cambridge offer scholarships? Very limited. Depends on the degree that you're going to be looking at. And I did not get the question in terms of what would you like to know about the MBBS program. It's a undergrad degree. Out of the 5 UK applications, you can make 4 in medicine, 1 in non-medicine. Deadlines for Oxford, Cambridge, 1st of October. Otherwise, majority of your medical applications, the first 4, will be done by 15th of October across all of the UK universities. You have a single exam, which is called your UCAT, which you have to give in terms of clearing and getting admitted. It's not a test like NEET. It's more of a quantitative and logical analysis exam. Right, so that I can give you a quick view. Otherwise, what I'll suggest is use the QR code on the screen so we could have an in detail one-on-one session and we could give you the answers that you'll be looking for. Right, any other questions? Yeah, I think that's it. Sunetra, thank you for joining us across. It was a really nice session and really enlightening one. And we'll now be just concluding off the session.